Thanks for joining episode 8 of Amazing Entrepreneurs titled 1 to 130. You won't want to miss this discussion of exponential business growth. Welcome back to another episode of Amazing Entrepreneurs. If you've listened to last week's podcast, we were talking to Derek Lewis of Razorback Electric, and the first episode was about his start into the field and the beginning of his entrepreneurial journey, and this one's growth. Derek, come jump on, tell us how you did it, man.
Well, I guess it's a follow-up from what we were talking about. We've been lucky, like I always say, just the grassroots. I tell everybody, just take care of the customer, have a fair price. We never want to be the cheapest. We never want to be the highest.
Right.
And we want the callbacks. We want the referrals.
Never want to be the cheapest, huh?
Yeah.
So you're not fighting over price.
No, we really, don't get me wrong. I'll get greedy and somebody's like, hey, this guy offered it for $2,000. Can you meet it? I'll just say, yeah. But for the most part, like, we don't want to be the cheapest guy,
Yeah.
We don't want to be the most expensive, but we want you to understand it's going to be excellent service.
Right.
No matter what,
Right. Yeah. So people who buy off, it's the same thing. It's like, I jokingly say to ourselves, we're never going to be the cheapest guy. If you hire us because we're IT, people outsource IT to us. So if you're hiring us to fix your computer, we fix computers, but that's not our whole value add. Like if, we're valuable when someone wants to take their company from 20 to 100, right? So we help align the technology so there's no constraint so you can get to that. So you're not like sitting there at 30 or 40 or whatever and be like, I cannot grow any further because of this.
Yeah.
And it's not related to money or people. And that happens.
Yeah.
So not for you guys though, which is a great, you guys have just been rocking and rolling. Started in 2012. In case people missed last week's episode, started in 2012. Currently size?
Almost 130 guys, about 63, 64 vans.
Okay. Is one on its last leg?
Huh?
Is one on its last leg? He may be going out?
I know we bought one, and I don't know
fair
if
enough.
retired one. So.
Okay.
But, we...
What do you guys do when you retire? Drive them into the ocean?
Literally drive into the ground. And then we got a scrap guy that gives like $500 for it.
Oh, for real? Okay,
so,
okay.
But, every van has a dollar amount on it of what it makes. What I've got
Do you track that?
Yeah, we track it. We have a fleet guy now.
This is good. This is going to be an excellent episode.
Yeah, we're big, and I heard you talk about the processes. We're big on process. I call it the assembly line. Like if everybody does their job in the assembly line, the product's going to be the same excellent product every single time, So starting at the beginning from the girl's phone call to all the back scene stuff that's managing fleet, the mobile mechanics, keeping the guys going, T-shirts, hats, signs on job sites. If everybody kind of does their job, and it's in anything, whether it's sports, the Patriot way, I'm a big fan of Nick Saban and those guys, they just consistently win,
Nick Saban has got to go sometime.
Yeah, but he's winning.
It's
Listen, as an Arkansas fan, it kills me to say it, but dude, Alabama, they have a system. They have an assembly line of guys, So
well, because it gives you a place to improve on, right? Because if it's like, hey, if I'm, I go out and I do this service, right, and then I started throwing a sign out there, like I track to see, like, hey, if I get new business from that.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't, or if something's causing you to lose business, then hey, that didn't work. Because like if it, done that quite a bit of times, screwed it up, and then hey, it definitely should have done a little bit better there. So, speaking of which, what's a change that you've made that like was not went totally ass backwards?
Usually, it's not the change; it's hanging on to somebody longer than we should.
Okay.
Like it's tough in construction because guys see what you do and they're like, I could take this customer, I could, take some of the employees and just go start my own company, So a lot of it, what it is for us is when I know in my gut I should have made a decision to fire a customer or to let somebody go, and I let emotion get involved, and I'm like, he's a good guy, we should hang on to him. That's burned me the most, is keeping somebody too long.
Right. Almost enabling them.
100%.
Yeah. So you started 2012. When did you hire your first part-time? Was it 2012?
2012, pretty much right away. 2013, we were full-time. The kid was full-time with us.
Okay.
And I was very lucky because he knew what he was doing, and he was helpful, charismatic. Customers liked him. He was somebody that we could kind of grow off of.
Okay.
So when I got a van, he went into the van, and then we got helpers for each of us, So we kind of like started growing that way. And then that second helper we got is one of our best service guys to this day. He's still been with us.
Really?
Yeah.
What about your first employee? Is he still with you?
He moved back to Arkansas. Yeah.
Went back to God's country,
Went back to God's country and had a bunch of kids. So.
Oh, well, is he an electrician there?
He's an electrician, to this day.
Started his own empire?
No, but he got a job with a guy that he likes, and he learned to trade down here, and he was able to go and transfer those skills.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. So glad to got a lot of kids is a lot of work. So I mean, it sounds like I'm sure he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
So you guys got you start off with 2 vans, and then how did you guys grow from there? You just picked up another van, another van, another van. Is it always 2 dudes on a truck or 2?
Typically, now we'll separate. Like now there's supervisors. Before I was the supervisor. So now, like as we get different divisions, we just did service. And then in 2015, we kind of picked up new construction.
So that's a division within your organization.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you got some guys that work specifically on
just new construction. Yeah.
Really? Okay. How many divisions do you guys have?
So we started commercial division in COVID, and that's grown to probably 8 guys now.
Okay.
So the good thing is, once we have that infrastructure of Razorback Electric with the girls, with the bookkeeping, with HR, we kind of have a good foundation for anything to grow off of that. So the new construction, remodeling, commercial, and now we're going to try the AC.
Well, you guys do remodeling too?
Well, small. So what we started doing was getting real estate probably 6 years ago. We just get a little house, we'd fix it up in-house, sub out what we couldn't do, and then we just rent it out. We just wanted the rental incomes. That's all we wanted.
What? You guys, wait. You guys have it like an entire, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we've been, and this has just been very slow.
I had no idea.
So, and now we have in-house guys that just do from floor, paint, trim, hang new doors, new windows. So they just work on, it's a separate company, but it's out of the Razorback office.
So question, does Razorback LLC or whatever Inc.
It's
does it own
Leasing LLC. Yeah, it's a separate real estate company.
Is it owned by Razorback or?
No, it's totally separate. Yeah.
Totally separate.
Totally separate. Yeah.
So you got multiple ventures like.
Well, the real estate's been good for passive income, and what happens is guys would need to borrow first, last, and security to move into these apartments or these places, and rent started getting high, and I'm like, why can't we help them get them in a spot? We trust them, obviously. We don't have to take first, last, and security from them. And I always tell them, just pay your rent, take care of the house like your own, And we've had good luck where it's lower rents than everybody else. We don't have turnover, and they take care of the house like their own. And probably half of them are employees, half of them are just friends that I've known in Delray, So we've had good luck with the real estate. And, now it's built itself up. In the beginning, when you get a house, you're not really making money off one 3-2 house. You're not making much net, but it's just same with electricians. It's a numbers game. The more vans we get on the road billing hourly, so the more houses we're able to get. So now it's actually like it can support itself, that business.
Gotcha. And do you market it specifically, or is it more of a
so typically
need to know?
We get it. We're gonna we know once we get the property, and like we just got a triplex in Boynton. We signed a contract Monday. So by the time we close in a couple weeks and do the construction, we'll have it rented out, So there's really no reason to market it, So
that's what I'm saying. It sounds like it's kind of like it helps serve your larger organization.
Somebody's always asking like, hey, you got a 1-1 or a 2-2. So I just kind of keep a list in my phone like, hey, we're gonna have a 2-2 coming up.
That's
in November,
amazing, dude. So do you are there 28 hours in your day?
Well, I mean, listen, it's this, and I always say this when somebody, don't ever let me say I'm too busy. We all have the same amount of time in the day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So the real estate, once it's the property, probably my most time spent on it is acquiring it, getting the
Yeah,
price,
yeah,
and then I'm kind of out of it.
yeah, yeah,
We'll walk
yeah.
with the remodel crew.
Okay.
Hey, put a wall here. Let's redo this bathroom, redo the kitchen. I'm kind of out of it. And once you get a renter, like this morning, I had a text. There's a sink leaking. So I send it to the guys. They'll go fix it today, and I should be, done. So it's a very small part of my day with the real estate stuff.
Yeah, it's just like buying,
Yeah.
because to me, which is once you buy a house and you kind of like go through that process, like
Yeah.
for a lot of people, it's it's the biggest purchase they'll ever make,
Yeah.
But if you make a few of these, then it starts to become like you know what you're looking for, you know
Yeah.
what you're not looking for, what is eligible. So like you start to become like more refined in your process of picking one out,
Yeah.
because otherwise you run into it, hey, this is taking up more time than it's worth.
Yeah, and we know, and this is a long-term play. Like, listen, Razorback pays the bills. That's the bread and butter. Like, we're not,
Yeah.
but this is a long-term play for my kids that these houses, if you can just get them where you're just collecting rent and the maintenance is minimal, we try to do all the work up front. We redo everything, new kitchens, new bathrooms, floors, paint, everything. So there should be minimal maintenance down the road.
Right.
And if we overpay now, it's fine because we're not trying to flip it or make money today. This is 10, 15, 20 years. That's the way I look at it.
Right. Well, you're not losing money.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's still South Florida real estate. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, if you need we had a fantastic broker come on a couple episodes ago, Frank Cristiano, excellent dude. Get you the best rates unless they're all cash plays. Then it's,
Yeah.
then you don't need one him. But if just so you know, check them out. But going back to, so you guys have, traditional electrician work, new builds, remodel. So question on the remodel: are they Razorback Electric employees?
So the remodels it's both. So we'll work for a GC. You're going to do a room addition or a remodel, and that kind of falls between the service guys and the new construction guys. The Razorback remodels basically just does. We go in your house and we cut holes to refeed some lights.
Okay.
Normally we'd say, hey, you got to call a drywall guy. Now at least we have a team. We can see, hey, they'll drywall, paint, Razorback employees. It'll be cheaper than you would have paid somebody else, but we're still going to make money off of them.
Right.
85% of those guys' time is spent on our properties, the DL leasing properties. So it's not really something because we're not licensed as a general contractor that we're marketing. It's just doing repairs as we need it because we sub out a lot. All day I'm sending out AC contacts, plumbers, drywall guys, paint guys, and I'm just sending them to people. Hey, call this guy. He's good. Friends ask me, customers ask me, neighbors ask me. So I'm like, how much of this can we keep in-house instead of referring it out? If we get some AC calls, we get some patch calls, some remodel calls, so that's just the way I'm thinking is like, listen, I love helping.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur like through and through. Like, so it's not normal. Most people are like, hey, we do electrical work, and if I do it, I do a half-assed job of like picking it up.
Yeah.
But like, you're like, how much can I keep in a house? Like,
yeah. And listen, part of it is, if I'm being honest, other guys are too busy. Like, hey, your roofer didn't call me back, and I'm like,
I hate it.
Dude, I'm not his complaint department. I'm trying to give him business. I don't want to be his Google complaint department where you're calling me when he's not answering the phone. You know? So how much of that can we keep in house?
It's frustrating because some of and I don't want to give like GC, and I'm definitely not disparaging GCs, because every business is different. But some especially like service industry, it's just like, how do you run a business, man?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How? Because it's like, I own a business. I'm telling you right now, if someone calls in, wants to do work with us, give us money, and you don't call them back, you're fired.
Yeah.
It's you have one job.
Yeah.
Because like, hey, we're here to do that's our entire purpose in this world. And if you are not doing that, that's a problem. So unless some people, I've also found that some people don't want to grow their business. So like some people are just fine having that, being the solopreneur, and it's like, hey, I'll take on what I can take on, and it's just not but it's fine. But it's not kind of like I have a business, like I want my business to get to its natural state.
Yeah.
You know, it's only going to grow so much naturally, and then one day I'll look at it and be like, all right, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
You know, so you've got the so they do a little bit of both. Is there anything else that like you use commercial?
The commercial guys, we just, if without a good guy, we can't do the work. So we finally met a good commercial guy, and we're lucky because he had the drive to grow it. He's like, listen, I can do these jobs, I can grow it. So we've just kind of been giving him crews. Like, you need another van and 2 more guys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we hired the guys. So now, before when we hired, we wanted residential electricians. So now we're trying to get commercial electricians.
Yeah, because it's just a different thing, right?
Yeah, we're just trying to, it's a totally different ballgame. So we're trying to grow that department. So it's still small, it's still a baby. Like I said, it's probably 8 guys or something, you know, but
Yeah.
we're still trying to grow that, you know.
Nice. So like, I mean, no wonder you guys have gotten to 130. It's like, because I jokingly say that each one of these is a line of business, right?
Yeah,
It
no,
could be
they're all little companies.
you could split it off
Yeah.
and it be its own thing, you know, and it would be fine. It would be a natural thing. So it's like, how does one get from that to that? It's because we implement, but when you do something, you need to do it good.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you have like a head of each of these kind of departments. You
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. So like even the bookkeeping's a little separate. There's one bookkeeper for Razorback, but even the invoicing for the service and the new construction, there's different people there. The commercial kind of falls into a new construction. So we try to like vary assembly line. Like when you get an invoice, it goes to him so he can send it out, you know?
Right.
This girl follows up the next day to collect on the invoice, you know? So we just try to keep it and her job's quality control. She's calling to follow up on how the job went. Were you happy with the guys? Can we do anything better?
Yeah.
By the way, you owe us money.
Yeah, yeah. No, look, I get it. So gotta collect the bill. So bookkeeping. So do you have like these own entities? Do you have like do they buy and sell from each other? So like do you track profit at like?
It's hard because first of all, we're not very sophisticated, and the way I started was a Google Drive spreadsheet. The reason I liked it is because when I left a company that paid for a work truck, paid for my gas, paid for my health insurance, oil changes, all those little things that I got, you know, I wanted to make sure that Razorback Electric made more money than that. So I was tracking oil changes, gas, trucks, you know, all that stuff. At the time, it was a buy here, pay here truck I got for $75 a week on Dixie in, you know, March of 2010. You
Beautiful.
know, so
Yeah.
the truck was
A little
paid
beater.
for.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was my personal truck.
Okay.
So we still use that spreadsheet to this day. You know, I still
Okay.
have them. So every job, every penny spent should be in that spreadsheet. That way I can kind of see real numbers, you know? So if we get paid for a job today from 6 months ago, they're going to go back in 6 months. The girls will find it. They'll enter in that net payment for that job. You know, we've already paid the labor. We've already paid the material. So the spreadsheet kind of helped me track in the beginning. Now, obviously, the girls are on QuickBooks. The problem is it's hard to separate separate companies with the commercial, so they use the spreadsheet. So I can be like, hey, can you track the commercial guys for last month? And it'll take them an hour or two, but they can kind of get those numbers.
Yeah, my QuickBooks we move a lot of people over to Microsoft Dynamics. Nice plug, by the way, because QuickBooks does a lot of things. It doesn't. It doesn't do. It doesn't do multiple companies.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. Is like, hey, multi-company, is a challenge. But QuickBooks is a nice way, because the books matter. It's like, where am I tracking my profitability? Going back kind of on subject. It's and it's good that you had a system in place. You had the discipline to put that down, and it sounds like before the company grows to the process that you put into place, right? And if the process works, you can finally delegate it over and then hold people accountable to that. So, so those are your core divisions then.
Yeah, the commercial, new construction, and service for Razorback. Yeah.
Right. And then the AC guy.
Well, the AC hasn't started yet, so wish us luck.
Well, if it's based on your past experience, I mean, it's at least going to be a proper swing at it. So
I just think with our properties, our investment properties, at least we can get started there. We're going to try just emails to existing Razorback customers. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to see maybe give it 6 months and just see how far we get.
Right. Have you guys figured out? So it's going to be a separate brand?
That will be a separate company. We'll make sure we get everything separate for that to track it. Yeah.
Okay, separate brand. Is it will be Razorback AC?
So I felt like that was a little douchey to say that, but then everybody's like that I talked to, you kind of need the name in it to
Well,
make the customer feel
Well, that's
comfortable.
honestly, that's why, you look up here at OHMazing. I don't know if the camera can go there, but I learned the hard way, with branding, because like what the hell do I know, man?
Yeah.
I'm an IT guy,
Yeah.
so it's like, but you kind of learn these things. I think, to me, you didn't ask me, but I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I think you should keep it on brand,
Okay.
because whenever I see,
Yeah.
or at least have Razorback within it,
Yeah.
and you can have some, because like I have OHMazing, and
Yeah.
the reason being is because, hey, amazing entrepreneurs, amazing tech. If we ever do anything else, it'll be amazing, dot, 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 dot. But you can kind of, you can build it up and then sell it, or you can do whatever you want to with it. Give it to somebody if you want to, if you didn't, well, please. But that way you kind of leverage that, because when people see Razorback, and this kind of, if you guys missed last episode, we talked a little bit about culture and mantra and things of that nature, things that you're kind of pushing out to this world, and they know you guys as, hey, they take care of us, and so when they see the AC stuff and they know it's coming from the same brand, they kind of equate the same thing, especially if I'm getting an email from it. So that's my opinion.
Yeah. Thank you.
So growth, tell me, where's been the most painful for you? What's been the most awkward that you've like, hey, I struggle with this part of the growth business?
So, I mean, every year there's been different struggles. A lot of it's internal for me, not giving up a job, like not giving up estimating, not giving up the scheduling, not, feeling like I got to like micromanage or be too involved.
Right.
But like almost every time when I look back, when I removed myself and let somebody handle it, I was less stressed. It probably went smoother.
Yeah, it probably did a better job.
Yeah, and so I'm not the end all be all. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I have to like kind of remember that and just kind of remove myself. If you put good people in a position to do a job, don't stand over their shoulder and tell them what they should do.
Yeah, don't micromanage them.
Yeah.
Hold them accountable, but like give them something and say, hey, that's kind of how my every time I get, hey, we'll go through it. We'll talk about it. Do it. We'll talk about how to go, what sucked about it, what didn't, what should we do differently, things of that nature. Because like, if you're hiring a consultant to, like, I wouldn't hire Razorback to come in and tell them how to do the work.
Yeah.
Kind of silly, know.
Well, you get customers like that.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah.
It's totally bizarre. Like, why the hell did you hire me?
Yeah.
But it's, and with us, we get customers like that too, but it's from a business standpoint, you want to be involved. But at the end of the day, like if I hired a CPA to, keep my books, like I need to make sure, like I need to respect them, because they do know. And if you know more than they do, you should probably fire them.
Yeah.
So you guys have, so those are the different sides, but what about operationally? So you guys have a bookkeeper? Is it somebody you brought inside? Do you outsource some of that stuff, or,
The only thing we really outsource is like our accounting, our year-end taxes.
Yeah.
He has a QuickBooks login. He can come in, make sure we're paying the right quarterly, tell us, how we're doing with the books.
Quarterly.
Our quarterly tax return,
Sure.
So
Okay.
make our payments.
Yeah.
So he at least can kind of see the money coming in. It's like, hey guys, we need to pay a little more this quarter, just so we don't get penalized,
Okay.
So that was a game changer. We probably did 2 or 3 years ago, because before I was just using a guy that I'd used forever who worked out of his house in Deerfield.
Right.
Really nice guy. It kind of got to be many moving parts with different businesses and the real estate stuff and other states. And, he just was like getting K1s and stuff was coming in late. I could tell he was overwhelmed. So I got referred from our financial guy to a real CPA. He's like, dude, you go to his office. This guy's legit. Like, you need to get your books up to date. It's kind of getting too big for the guy in Deerfield. And that was, again, it was very painful. We had to redo a lot of stuff. We had to manually enter a lot of stuff on QuickBooks. But once we got that going, once we took the pain of like anything, whether you're losing weight, trying to eat right, stop a bad habit, like once we got through that pain, it was so much worth it in the end, So, because now we're kind of rolling, we're up to date, everything's legit, So
Right.
before we're just kind of flying around, throwing money in the bank, paying bills, doing the best we could. So
Yeah. No, it's trust me, I get all that, and it's so. How was the relationship in there? Was it a good friend of yours, or was it like
Just he'd been with us forever,
yeah,
like, and I wouldn't be good about keeping books. We bought property in Texas, and I just forgot to tell him, and I was like, all of a sudden I get this, K1, and I'm like, oh shit, Jack, I forgot, same in Arkansas, and he would be like, Derek, you got to send me this stuff when you get it, and I would
right?
mean to, and I would just
I know
forget.
my accountant like annoys the living shit out of
Yeah.
me. He's like, Michael, you gotta do this. I'm like, bro, we don't pay no, I jokingly say, hey,
Yeah.
I hired you so we don't have to pay taxes, but like, but he's like, you're always asking me for stuff, Salim, and it's, but
Yeah.
like, who are you?
Yeah.
I give him, I think he hates me,
Yeah.
but I bust, I joke with him quite a
Yeah.
bit. So, real quick, going to jump into pounding pavement. If you guys like, I don't know if you got a chance to hear a couple episodes ago, we had a nice recruiter. So if you're ever looking for talent, you should consider Eileen Rain. She was on here episode 5, but this is a little bit about, if you're a job seeker, she, I saw the other day, she actually on LinkedIn, she offers free consultations for people trying to find their dream job. So like literally her job is a recruiter, and she's offering free consultations for people who are looking to get a job in their dream job. So like, if you're an electrician, she helps, put you in the best position to be hired by Razorback Electric. But in any case, are you tired of the endless job search? Are you struggling to get a response from recruiters, or feeling like your applications aren't generating calls? Executive recruiter and job search specialist Eileen Rain shares her insider secrets from the view of the recruiter in the revolutionary job-getting, career-building system, Pounding Pavement 101. Eileen teaches job seekers exactly how to market themselves with laser precision, exponentially increasing their chances of getting noticed and hired by growing companies like Razorback. Using this scientifically proven tech methodology in Pounding Pavement 101, job seekers are getting hired in 3 to 8 weeks in their dream jobs after searching on their own for 9 to 12 months, saving them time and thousands of dollars. I implore you, schedule some time to reach out with Eileen. Reach out to her on LinkedIn or visit https www.poundingpavement101.com to learn more. Once again, find her on LinkedIn. That's ILENEREIN. So that's Eileen Rain on LinkedIn. She's got great information there. So check out some of that stuff. So the accounting was a little bit of a growth. What about it? You guys have internal HR, or how did that happen?
I have a buddy. He worked at the treatment centers when they all got shut down 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's always been one of my
Legit
best
guy?
friends. Yeah. He was a good one.
He's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's a good dude. Okay.
Yeah.
You never
And I
know.
think they just went out of business. They weren't billing insurance right, but he was a good guy. He's always been one of my best friends. And luckily, he was able to come in and have some background of working at like a real company,
Right.
real HR, and he's helped kind of implement stuff. And we just want to hire smart people,
Right.
So you get in, and I tell people, like, we don't know what your job title will be. We just need help in the office. So come in, work with us, and let's just kind of figure it out. One guy was running a pest control company.
Right.
I met him. He was looking for a new job, and I was like, just work for us. We'll match your salary, and let's just see if you find a spot where you can kind of like help us out,
Nice. Did he work out?
Yeah, so he ended up managing the fleet, and he's running the AC thing. He's going to start that. So he's kind of like, but he didn't. It was weird for him. What do you mean? What's my job title? What do I do on Monday morning? I was like, just kind of like hang out in the
Come
office.
here, man. Just do something. Just anything.
You'll find a way, and that's what happened with our HR guys. He kind of like just started invoicing and then running the guys, and he's kind of helped with the HR, and now he sets up the 401k, the health and the dental insurance and all that stuff that like is way above my head, So he's been real good with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, like onboarding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like, hey, come in and do stuff. He's probably like, hey, Derek, like we gotta like have we gotta have him. What is it, I-9 or we have to fill out some basic documentation and offer. I don't know. But it's what the hell do I know about HR? So it's
Well,
cool.
I would just hire somebody and I'd pay him cash. And I'd be like, yeah, Kevin started. I actually gave him, you know, a couple $100 for the day. And he's like, I don't think that's his name. And I need paperwork from him, you know?
Yeah. You know, toddlers and a cough, you know how
Yeah,
that goes.
daycare sickness.
Brother, I've never been so sick in my life.
And it just keeps coming.
Yeah. But, so marketing, what about, so you guys, you know, and I'm thinking about just all these different aspects, because like you go into any sort of like, you know, business, you got sales, marketing, finance, HR, operations. You may get a little bit more advanced in that, but do you guys have anything dedicated there, or is it something that
We had a girl, she got pregnant and had a kid and quit, but she would do social media stuff. I know I would see a Facebook post or Instagram. Then she quit, and when she had her baby, and we haven't really followed up with it. I had a buddy that started a marketing company. He was doing stuff on Google and Instagram, and we were one of his first accounts. I don't think he made it 3 months. You know, I was giving him like $1,000 a month, and he did stuff. I don't know what he did, and then he didn't want to do it anymore. So that's really the extent of it. The AC company, we are going to need help with. We are going to want.
What about the branding though? Like, what about the logo and stuff like that? Or has it gone through any? You know, I saw a couple different changes of it. You know, the wrapping, and because like to me, marketing is, you know, there's the paid stuff and then the social media stuff. But you know, now that I've, you know, I jokingly say, what is your job at, you know, Amazing Tech, is like, I'm the marketing guy, you know, so it's like, you know, it's my job to build and nurture a brand, right?
Yeah.
But you guys do a lot of that with like the signs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
The signs have been helpful. What I noticed, when we put signs up at new construction, the service phone rings. It's not always builders that are saying, hey, I want to build a house, but homeowners, I think they feel more comfortable when they see, oh, you're building this big mansion on the beach.
that's what I would see.
Can
Well,
you,
I mean,
can
yeah.
you come hang this light for me? You know, so that's the only reason. Like even today, I'm driving right here on Meisner, and I see a job we're doing. The sign got blown over, and I'm texting the office.
You're like, what the hell is this?
Hey, get the sign back up. You know, so
you know, make it happen. No,
and that's
play.
most of my day. The guys make fun. I'm like, hey, we got to get a sign up here because I know it keeps the phone ringing. So what'll happen? I'll see the service schedule gets light. Guys might be going home at 2 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock. So for me, that's one more call a day. That's $1.85 per truck that we're losing. So I'm like, hey, let's get some signs up, keep the phones ringing to keep these guys going till 4 o'clock every day. You know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So do you guys? So that's a lot of the businesses that like the you know, hey, the break fix, or hey, the small jobs here and there.
We'll do big or small. So it's an hour minimum, $185. We'll come to do anything: hang a TV, change a light bulb, add hi-hats, fix an outlet, add an outlet. There's probably 24 trucks running around doing that all day. And then, you know, like then another half of the company is doing the new construction, you know. So the guys in the morning, we're all might be in the same office, but a lot of the new construction guys, they know where they're going every day. They're on the same job site 2-3 weeks at a time.
Right.
The service guys they're 4 or 5 jobs a day. So they're in and out of the shop, they're getting material, they're always there, you know, with the girls in the office. So.
Right. What about the office crew? How big's the office crew to support the 130?
Probably 12 people. It's a couple girls on the phones, quality control girl, like an assistant filing. 2 guys are invoicing, the HR, a bookkeeper, her assistant, a permit department, a couple guys.
Permit department.
Well, just because most of the jobs require a permit from the city.
Yeah.
So we're applying.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
And then we got to meet inspectors every day to, you know, check the work. So that's a couple guys. It's all they do is they're just meeting inspectors, getting permits, doing all the paperwork, dealing with the county and the government, you know. So.
Huh. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Okay. But but who designed who? So going back to who?
This was my neighbor, a buddy. When I started, he did, if we're being honest, the AA triangle and the electrician bolt. You know.
Oh yeah.
This was 11 years ago, July of 2012. You know.
Yeah.
So.
No, look strong.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm a simple guy, just simple, basic. You know. So we just. And we just kind of kept the colors. We've never really changed. I mean, the shirt colors have changed, you know. We did white in the beginning, and we noticed how much.
I'm a strong charcoal guy. Yeah,
well,
they
the
get
dirt.
Yeah.
So I wear it to the gym, and I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So we've kind of just to hide better.
Do you wear that all the time? I feel like
So
you're always in brand.
my job, this is my uniform. You know what I'm saying? So Monday through Saturday, I wake up and I go to Razorback. You know what I'm saying? So
Saturday.
yeah, the one day I don't is at night when I get off work or Sunday mornings. And I almost like look in my closet. I'm like, oh shit, I'll just wear this blue shirt. You know, I don't even know what to grab. I'll wear a Razorback shirt.
But you don't have to wear it. You can wear whatever you want to.
Yeah, but I still feel like I have a responsibility to the guys to show up in uniform, to
Right.
show up, you know, like I'm not going to be in flip flops like this. I used to wear steel toes and boots, so I've gone to tennis shoes and shorts, you know. So
Okay.
because a lot of the guys that's what they wear too, but I still feel like this is my job. You know, I got to get up and go to work every day. We don't want to assume that this is going to go on forever. Like I still have a job to do every day.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
so I got to put my work in just like I expect them to put their work in every day.
No,
you know?
because like the best, the best way to teach is by doing. Set by example. Not by saying. So
Yeah.
hey, do this, do that. But hey, if I it goes a lot further if I match. If I practice what I preach, so to speak.
Yeah. And with kids, I'm not the first one at the office anymore. I kind of got to wait till my wife's up like at 6:30 and then I can duck out, 6:30 whenever she gets up. But I used to like to be the first guy there, but I just can't do that anymore, so.
The first guy there is there before 6?
Yeah, normally there's guys there at 5:30, and some of them, the commercial guys, they start real early just because of the heat, depending on where they're working,
All right. So they get done earlier than.
They'll get done 2 or 3, yeah. So.
Well, look, I can see the incentive on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
go out, bang it out, and then. But so you work 6 days a week, huh?
Yeah, I've always worked Saturdays. In the beginning, it was side work for Razorback. It was 5 days for my boss, Saturdays and Sundays for myself. Like I said, the old man I said last episode, he taught me if I put in an hour extra a day, 5 hours on Saturday, it's a minimum 10 hours a week overtime.
Right.
50 weeks times 10. So it kind of added up for me, like the money part of it. I'm real big in compounding interest in whatever I do in life. You know what I'm saying? Like I might skip the gym today, eat bad, and call out of my job, and tomorrow might not look that differently. I might look and act the same. But if I do that a couple times a week, 5 or 10 days out of the year, or for 5 or 10 years at a time, what is my life going to look like versus putting in the extra time, going to the gym when I don't want to go, going to the meeting I don't want to go to? Like, what is my life going to look like in 10 years? Like, always putting in a little extra,
Right. Well, the fact that you spent, honestly, a couple hours with us down here, man, this has been, awesome. Because I'm a big thing on compound. It kind of is what it is. It's life is what you put into it, right? Yeah. And it's every day is not like you wouldn't know the difference between good and bad if every day was good, right? Yeah. So like you're take those bad days, embrace them, learn from them, and get back on it. Get back on it. So. But I love, I joke, I'm always in brand because it's like I was so bad at it, or, I jokingly say how, because I swapped my name 5 years into the business, right?
Yeah.
And, I did it, it was a real conscious thing, and I didn't want to do it. Like, who the hell wants to change their name? It's like a daunting decision, but it was something that needed to be done because, like, I didn't want to lose one cell over it, and that sucks. Like, because, like, I don't want to, like, I know what we do. Like I want to help. I want to deliver that. So, when did you transition out of servicing on? Because you don't do any actual electrician work.
No, at my house, at my family's house in Arkansas. But and I just realized, like we talk about the mechanic, there's only so many hours in a day that I can bill for, and if my time's more valuable somewhere else,
right? Then you're actually doing your employees a disservice.
Yeah, and it's like I just you can get so caught up in it. So to transition out of that, probably about 18 months ago, or it was 2 Christmases ago. I was too stressed. I was doing too much. It was too busy. I wanted to sell. I wanted to get out. And I just had to sit down. I spent a couple weeks in Arkansas and I had to decide am I going to come back and sell or are we just going to do something different? So I started new cell phone number, started responding less to certain emails and just delegating, you know, like
Right.
started being involved in stuff less. I was like, I have to take a step back for my own sanity.
Right.
But also, my kids were in that young spot, like we talked
Oh,
about.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Trust
saying?
me. Trust me. I get
So
it.
it's like they don't speak English. I can't like use reason with them. You know
Oh
what
my
I'm
God,
saying?
my 2-year-old, like she just started
Yeah.
talking. And she was a problem.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's-
this is not reasonable.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't
Yeah.
talk like it. There's like this, I feel that in my soul.
Yeah.
So,
And it was just, do I want to blow my brains out? Do I want to sell? Like, I got to get out of this somehow. So it was almost like I've detoxed myself from the business, and it took a while, but we had to say no to certain customers. We had to say no to certain distances. Like we tried to get smaller, and we did for a little bit where we're like, our footprint smaller. No more Broward County. No more North Palm. No more to certain builders that caused a lot of headaches or created a lot of phone calls and unnecessary emails. Like you kind of know who those customers are.
yeah.
But what that did was we kind of weeded it out and we got way more efficient. And now we can like add on stuff and start build. And all of a sudden we started adding guys again. I was like, oh, we're trying to get smaller, but now we're less stressed, more efficient, and we've actually grown. You know,
Right.
So
And your quality of life's gone up.
way up. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it's unsustainable. Like, yeah, you want to do everything, but like at a
Yeah.
certain point in time, it's like, you know.
Yeah, I hated it, and my wife knew I hated it. So it's just like, dude, what's it really worth, you know? So,
Right, right. So speaking of selling, is when you say selling the business.
Yeah. So and it kind of like we got hit up by some people, private equity,
Of course, I was about to say you're probably getting to a point to where it's like they're thinking,
and they told me they're really big and they're not making money in real estate, they're not making money in the stock market, but they see construction, service-oriented businesses are bringing in cash daily.
right.
They don't want that new construction half of the company. They didn't want the commercial, but they wanted like those 24 service vans, you know? So it was really hard for me, like, dude, this is stressful. But at the end of the day, it's something we created. It's something like I love. I'd like to give to my kids, you know? So if I make it that far, if I ruin it before then, you know?
Well, I don't know if it's ruining it. Like, they're going to look back and be like, hey, Dad did something cool, you know? And it's like, unless you, I don't know, drive
Hopefully.
into the ground, you know, and it's just turned into a raging jerk.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a possibility. I know Derek, so I know myself. But it's funny because we were talking about like segmentation of businesses and stuff like that, because that's something that prior to me working on my own, I was an IT engineer, and it's like they would buy these companies, and then we would just buy a company, and because at a certain point in time you grow a business, and then you can only grow it so much, and then you grow it through buying shit.
Yeah.
And so, you get private equity firms looking at it, and they're like, hey, we definitely this is appealing to us because this is like we've identified this type of service that we're wanting to do, and we're wanting to buy up a bunch of them and kind of like work in that market. So, but in order to be in that position, you have to segment off that stuff. So you're going to sell off, basically a line of business, right?
Yeah.
Probably sign a non-compete to not do that same work for a little bit. And then, hey, you help us with the transition while, and then you're kind of out.
Well, and at the end of the day, that's kind of what it was. So like they're going to give you X amount of money. They want you to be an employee for 3 to 5 years.
Right.
And then they're going to sell, and they're going to give you a piece of that sell again, the second bite of the apple, they call it. So then I'm doing the math, and I'm like, but if I kept it for those 3 to 5 years, I would still have the money from you guys and the business, and then I can decide what to do with it.
Yeah.
If I can just delegate better and do less. Like, it's really a me problem. It's not a money problem at that point.
Well, no, it's like I agree with you. And it always, if someone approached you with the right number now, it's regardless of it.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, looking at it as a solution to delegate some of that stuff, it's like, I'm still going to be 3 to 5 years. Is that really what they told you?
Yeah, and
That's too much, man. That's too much.
And they wanted to tack on other businesses and let us manage it and try to grow it and then resell it, at a much higher revenue.
And they might, and you may be able to do that, but like you're pot committed to building something on their behalf for 3 to 5 years. Like, I don't know, like. They need to rework their pitch.
I don't want a real job,
Yeah, they need to rework their pitch. Well, I mean, because like, hey, I think it's reasonable to accept that, like, hey, when we buy your business, help us with the transition so that way it's going to be successful.
Yeah.
3 to 5 years is a long time.
Well,
Usually it's a year or something like that.
Well, and that's if you're just trying to transition out and they want to run it. They're
Yeah.
saying, let's blow this thing up.
Yeah.
and
No,
then let's
and then like I'll
resell
just
it.
do it on my own.
And that's
I'm kind
kinda,
of it's what I'm
yeah.
already doing.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, but at the end of the day, how much more headache do I want to take on? Because that's really what it's about.
Right.
Losing my time for money doesn't make as much sense as it did in the beginning. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like now I'd rather pay for time and comfort, you're paying people to do things that I used to do on my own,
Right.
even in your normal house, cleaning your house, mowing your lawn, little things like, dude, that time's way more valuable to me.
I know. Well, you hit a certain point in your life where
Yeah.
it's like, hey, what's more valuable to you, time or money?
Yeah.
And in fairness, it will be money depending on how much money.
Yeah.
But like you start looking at different things, and it's like, hey, where does it? Because that's when we decide on like outsourcing. Because a lot of times people outsource to us. It's like, hey, you can do that. You can hire somebody in at an average, an average help desk guy for, paying $50,000 or whatever you're going to pay them, and they're going to come in and do a very baseline job, where you can outsource and get a team, and then you get a higher level. So that's kind of the whole pitch. But it's usually like somebody who's not necessarily like a Derek, right? So I'm keeping the books, right? I'm keeping the books, and after a while, it's like, how good am I actually at doing this, right? Versus like hiring somebody, and how much is that going to cost me, and how much time is that going to free me up? Because if I'm free, then I can focus on doing stuff like growing the business. Because
Yeah.
if I'm not growing the business, ain't nobody growing the
Yeah.
business, right?
Yeah.
And so they need somebody, the top dog being like, why the hell is it in the sign up?
Yeah.
Somebody, what happened with the sign? It blew over,
Yeah.
and it's like, here comes Derek on his tangent.
Yeah.
Like I drove by the site, and it's like the damn sign ain't up. So I feel you. So, and so where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you have like a trajectory for a plan of it, or you just want to I'll shut up. I'll let you answer that.
Well, and listen, I don't think there's any correct answer. Like the bottom line is,
Yeah.
if we're doing what we're doing today, like we should be growing this thing. There's things out of our control, economy, interest rates are hurting builders right now and people buying homes,
Right.
I can't control much of that. We're in a weird niche where we're working for kind of the 1%ers on custom homes.
Right.
They're not really as affected right now as of today, but it's going to happen,
Right.
So there's things out of our control. So the business is probably going to go up and down. We've been very blessed that if you think about when we started to today, the economy's kind of been like going up,
Yeah.
So, but I also worked for a guy from 2003 to 2009
Yeah.
who lost everything,
Yeah.
and he had to kind of start from, he went to 60 guys to 4 guys and built it up to like 13. That's, so
Yeah.
that's kind of where he ended up at. And I worked for him forever,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of scary that, that something's going to happen. I'm not smart enough to predict it,
Right.
but I think if we still take care of our customers, if we take care of our people, keep raising kids and family, if I keep taking care of myself, I have to have faith in myself that no matter what happens, like we're going to be okay.
Right. Right.
So
Might not be my plan.
yeah, it's going to go bad economy money wise, but
Right.
as long as we save our money and do the right thing today,
Right.
we're going to get through it and the economy's going to go back up again. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like we just are kind of waiting for that other swing. So
Gotcha. And for just for our listeners, if there's something that like, what's your for growing and scaling the business? Like, well, if you could give it like a piece of advice, like,
don't bite off more than you can chew. I have a buddy who's a plumber, and I've watched him multiple times buy a bunch of vans, lease a bunch of vans, try to get a bunch of business through Google and stuff, and then he's got these vans sitting there that don't go anywhere. Like especially if it's a
Yeah.
service-based business, if you can pay cash, get the guys, run the business. As that
Right.
grows, get another one. Don't try to start off at 5 vans if you only have work for one van.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
take on payments that are going to cripple you later. Whether
Yeah.
it's high rent, the truck payments, the van payments, like your own mortgage at your own house,
Right.
like try to be as modest as you can and get this thing self-supporting, because you are going to have to come out of pocket some days for the business,
Right.
and if you don't have that because of how you live lavishly in your personal life, like you're going to have a real wake-up call, so
Right. No, it's beautiful. What about electricians in general, or somebody in the trade field, like who are out there looking to kind of start their own deals, so to speak? What's something that you can say? Hey, these are qualities of people who are successful, or myself, that like I see. It's like, hey, they get it, you know, and
Yeah.
they tend to be successful. What stands out that you could tell them?
It's less on your electric work and more on your follow through. You know,
Okay.
like customers want to know you're going to take control of the situation, that you're going to fix it. Don't look at a customer like it's a one-time transaction. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like this is a relationship that you want to build, that this guy trusts you, that no matter what electric needs he's going to have in the future for him, his family, his neighbors, like you're going to be his guy. You don't want to leave him where it's like, man, I found out from my other neighbor that I was way overcharged. I really liked him, but he charged me 2,000 and my neighbor paid 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I've worked for places like that look at it, everything's a one hit, you know, get as much as you can and move on.
Yeah.
And those guys never last more than 3, 4, 5 years, you know?
Yeah. You can't scale those.
Yeah, so if you look at like this is going to be a relationship and I want to take care of this guy, even if it hurts today, if I got to give you a discount today, if I got to come out of pocket, if you think I damaged your wall and I didn't, I'm going to go fix your wall just to keep you happy and you'll refer me out again, you know?
Right.
Even if I'm right and you're like, dude, that wasn't me, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm going to paint it, patch it, I'll fix your wall.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. I'm going to come out of just to keep the customer happy. That's the thing is I noticed people, I have a friend, he worked for us for a while and he went on his own and he just tries to get as much as he can out of everyone. I saw him yesterday and he's slow. He doesn't have the business now, you know? So it's like you just have to be very careful of how you treat people because like it's always going to come back. It's a small community, especially down here. It seems big, but everybody knows everybody, you know? So
Yeah. Well, they keep the brand, the name, and you know
yeah.
that's you know some of the people that you do good work for tend to be your biggest advocate, right? They
Yeah.
become your rainmakers or whatever.
And
So
you never know the guy that you do this little $100 job for, and he refers you out to like one of our biggest clients when I first started, you know? So it's like the way I took care of him and I got this referral when I didn't really want to take care of this guy, you know? And it's
Right.
like the way that God's kind of set the dominoes up to fall is like we don't really know what's coming in front of us, but we got to do good work today to set ourselves up for the future.
amazing, man. So listen, I genuinely appreciate you coming out and you know sharing your experience, strength, and hope with us, man. And this was good stuff, dude. And real quick, if we're to reach out to you guys, you know, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
So you can go razorbackelectric.com. You can
Okay.
go. There's an online on our website. You can put in your information. We'll call you. We'll email you.
Okay.
You call the girls 561-767-5629. It's on the shirts, the vans, the signs. You know, call. You know, Whitney or Gina's going to answer, and you know we want to be helpful where we can.
Amazing. So with that, we will bid you guys a great week. Thank you so much for coming and joining us on this week of on this episode of Amazing Entrepreneurs. Once again, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed learning about how to scale business, and you know, I think anybody who is a business owner has, you know, there's value in that, you know, and learning, you know, what is success and what isn't success. So I hope you found it as interesting as I did, and we will see you again next week. So with that, thank you so much.